but we don't really fully explore the potential of that key, I think. For example, if you put in a tiny diamond or a tiny sliver of gold, you would get a massive one. So I feel like there are probably a lot of things you can do with that key.
Welcome to Watch Mojo's Poppin The Culture, your weekly entertainment destination. And me, well, I'm your host with the most cups of coffee in a day. That's right, it's me, Mr. Hollywood himself, Matt Demers. Such an exciting show coming your way. I'll be chatting with some of the stars and producers of Netflix's Locke and Key. That's right, that's all coming your way. But first, let's jump into those Hollywood headlines. All right, for those that know and for those that don't know, this is the part of the show where we like to dissect some of those more interesting developments out there in La La Land. And I need help doing it, and I love bringing back my guest today from Watch Mojo. Phoebe, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fantastic, and so excited to chat with you. And I mean, we have to start with the big news that's coming out of DC and Warner Brothers have this event. I think this is the second time they've done it. It's called DC Fan Dome. It's this virtual event, and they basically unload all the trailers, all the news, all the announcements, all in one day. And it was a big, exciting day for DC fans. Obviously, people are starting to go through some of their favorite announcements out there. I'm a huge Batman fan. We will talk about that Batman trailer. But first, Phoebe, of all the other announcements, other than that trailer, what are some of the ones that stuck out? Which ones are you excited for?
Okay, so first things first, to preface this, I'm a huge Michael Keaton fan. And so hearing Michael Keaton's voiceover in the trailer for The Flash, I was absolutely exploding with excitement. Michael Keaton arguably, along with Christian Bale, holds the title for the absolute best Batman.
Say it. He's the best.
Yes. I mean, Christian Bale is amazing too, but I have a soft spot for Michael Keaton, so I'm so excited for that. And of course, Black Adam, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is kind of a perfect fit for a superhero movie. So excited to see that. Love Shazam. So those are my two.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And I think for Black Adam, I'm actually starting to get really excited for it because now that we see, last year they did kind of like it was almost more of a design or what it would kind of look like. Now we're seeing kind of the live action sneak peek footage. And yeah, I think you're right. The Rock is just going to nail it. What a fantastic casting choice that was. But yeah, going back to The Flash, that was so exciting. And then when he pulled off the thing for the Batmobile, but they didn't show it. Oh, it's such a tease. But that was the obviously the point of it. Some other things coming out. If you're a video game fan, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League video game announcement. There was no gameplay shown, so people were kind of like, wait, I want to see the gameplay. But that's interesting. And one for me is the Peacemaker. This is a show that's coming to HBO Max in the new year, in January, starring John Cena as Peacemaker. We saw him in the Suicide Squad movie. I don't know. It looks like more of the same kind of goofy fun. I was a big fan of that movie. This is from James Gunn. It was kind of a quasi reboot. What's your take on John Cena, Peacemaker? Will it work as a show?
John Cena is one of Hollywood's most bankable stars right now. He's just so charismatic and so lovable. Seems like such a great guy. I think that no matter what, the show will be successful because it has him at the forefront. But I'm definitely interested to see what that will look like.
Yeah, no, for sure. Me too. Okay, let's not beat around the bush anymore. Batman. The Batman. It's directed by Matt Reeves, and it's starring Robert Pattinson, who, by the way, I'm championing as going to be great. Based on the footage that I've seen, I think he's going to nail it. Forget Twilight, guys. He has so many other great movies under his belt. The show, he's got the acting chops. So, Tenet for one. But yeah, no. So this is this looks fantastic. Who we got? We got Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot, a very different Penguin, very different Oswald that we've seen. I'll get your take on that in a second. And then, of course, Zoe Kravitz gets lots of airtime in this new teaser as Catwoman. I like the stuff on the rooftops. I'm a comic book fan. A lot of the Tom King Batman stuff, those images, stuck out to me, Batman and Catwoman on a rooftop. This is great stuff. And Paul Dano as the Riddler, very mysterious, and again, a different take. So this looks like it's going to be gritty, based in reality. I think people like that about the Dark Knight series.
Yes. People
like that reality-based Batman. I'm the same way. What else did we say? We saw he's going to be like bulletproof now, his armor. And from what I'm reading, this is only Batman's second year as a crime fighter. So he's particularly new in this story, in this movie. So it's a bit of a young Batman, hence Robert Pattinson. But yeah, are you as excited as I am? Because I'm very excited.
I have a lot of thoughts. I'm extremely excited. I find it like kind of funny that Robert Pattinson is doing another franchise, as you know, he talked so much shit about being in Twilight and then went on to do indie movies and kind of do his own thing and make his way in that sort of world. And now he's coming back to like a big franchise, big blockbuster hits. So I'm anxious to see it. I know that a lot of people were really excited about like the way that he talks as Batman. And I think he's kind of like perfectly suited for the role in that way. Paul Dano as the Riddler is just so exciting to me. Him in There Will Be Blood, like that evil character, Eli. It's so exciting to see him in a role like this. So I'm really, anxious about that. And also Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I love Andy Serkis. I'm a Andy Serkis stan. So, but yeah, I think what's charming about this movie, in terms of the trailer, is that it's very dark and gritty, like you mentioned, and kind of portrays Batman as like this imperfect hero versus other portrayals like the Ben Affleck, where it's kind of just like, this shiny superhero, perfect superhero. So I'm really anxious to see this kind of return to form for Batman that we saw with the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
Yeah, no, and I think you're right. And I think they could have gone the route of like more of a kiddie route, right? To sell toys, get the youngsters. But no, this is clearly for the adult crowd and the teen crowd, which I think is the right way to go for Batman. That's where the character thrives most, right? You can, and by the way, there is lots of more Batman stuff coming. They announced a Batman animated series coming to HBO Max called The Caped Crusader. So it's going to be kind of a noirish reimagining. So there you go. So kids can get into that stuff, but I'm super excited, and like you said, I can't wait to see what Pattinson brings in a full-length Batman movie. Super pumped. You know what doesn't have me pumped? And this is going on to our next topic. And I know Marvel fans are probably going to send their hate in the comments. It's okay. Bring it. I'm a big boy. I can take it. The Eternals. I don't care. Do you care? People, honestly, this is like the one Marvel movie that online I don't find any buzz. There's no hype behind it. I find online, word of mouth, and trust me, I'm in all those circles talking to all kinds of people, maybe not the right ones, I guess, but advanced ticket sales are strong. Okay, so listen, they're outpacing Black Widow's advanced ticket sales and Shang-Chi. So I don't know, is it just me? Do people care about this movie?
I didn't really hear anything about it until pretty recently, where I went to the theater and it was a preview at Shang-Chi. So I hadn't really heard anything about it. And when I saw the trailer, I was so surprised. I was like, oh my goodness, this looks amazing. Chloe Zhao is fresh off of a win for Best Director for Nomadland last year, correct?
That's right.
She's a phenomenal director. I think she's going to bring something really unique and interesting to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also, this is kind of like a Game of Thrones reunion because we got Kit Harington and Richard Madden in the same movie. Angelina Jolie, I haven't seen her in anything in a really long time, so she's finally cashing in on that superhero check. But it looks fantastic, but I think I agree with you that I haven't really heard anything about it.
Where's the buzz? Yeah, and that's the thing. When I watched that trailer, it shows great promise. Like you said, it does look great, and there's no mistaking that it's going to be visually a feast for the eyes. I kind of blame the promotional department on this one, the marketing team, because these are obscure characters. It's not like we're getting a new Iron Man and we already kind of have a built-in knowledge of it. These Eternals, and like I said, I'm a comic fan, not just DC. I like my Marvel stuff too. And I don't really know much about them. I'm a little familiar, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but if advanced ticket sales are any indication, it will be another Marvel hit. Because Marvel, who are we kidding? They rarely get it wrong. Right.
Exactly.
In the end. Yeah. So this could be the first one. If it doesn't do well, wow, that'll be a big blow, but we shall see. Okay, let's move on now to Halloween season, spooky season, as I like to call it, is right around the corner. And if you've been watching this show, which you should be, the past couple of weeks we've been having our guests drop their Halloween movie picks. Now, Phoebe, let me say, it doesn't need to be horror, right? People assume Halloween movies, horror. That's fine. There's lots of family-friendly stuff that ties in spooky and comedy and adventures and excitement, all that good stuff. You can't do Halloween, the original. That one's already been said. Halloween Town was thrown out last time by Kira. What do you got? What's your Halloween recommendation? Movie, or actually, it could be a TV show, TV series too.
I had to think long and hard about this one. My not safe for work pick is Saw. That's like my favorite horror movie. I'm not like a huge horror movie fan. I scare relatively easily, so it's not an enjoyable experience for me. But Saw is like, it's just one of the best movies ever. So I feel like it's perfect for Halloween. And then my family-friendly pick would be The Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, it's contentious whether or not it's a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie, but I'll watch it on any holiday because it's just a fantastic movie. So
yeah, no, you're right. And I can't believe it took this long to get a Tim Burton recommendation, right?
Right.
Like any one of his movies are right. Going back to Saw, I agree with you. The first installment, I went on a date and I didn't know what it was about. And we bought a big thing of popcorn. We didn't touch it the whole movie because we were so disturbed. At least I was. So when the movie ended, I had like this big bag of like, oh my God. Yeah, no, I think that first installment took me by surprise about just how intense it was. I had this uneasy feeling the entire way through. I think it got a little bit less so as the series went on.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing that I love about it is that it kind of combines elements of horror and like crime thriller, which is something that's like very palatable for a person who, like I said, scares easily. And, you know, having worked at Watch Mojo for a few years, I kind of know like all the mega twists of every movie. It's just kind of comes with the territory. And I hadn't seen Saw, but I knew the twist, you know, spoiler alert, the body was Jigsaw, right? Yeah. But when I watched the movie for the first time, I was like, I know what happens. And I could not help myself from, oh my God. And like, it was just so unexpected, even though I knew it was going to happen. And that's like, you know, the hallmark of a great movie.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, no, and they keep pumping them out. You know, there was one with Chris Rock. I don't know if you saw the latest one that he did.
I did see it. I kind of loved it. Yeah. I mean, I know everybody hated it, but I kind of loved it.
I did. I thought it was fine. I had some interesting. I like that they tied it in with the police. Right, that was an interesting angle. Yeah. I don't know, as long as they could, because that concept you can tie in specific groups and exactly. Make it work. But yeah, a lot of our beloved franchises are getting rebooted. Scream.
Yes,
Hello?
I heard about that.
I'm very excited. Yeah, I talk about Scream a lot on this program, and I can't wait to see it. All right, Phoebe, this is all great, but I don't need you to go anywhere because me and you, we got to go beyond the list.
I'm ready.
All right, as we do each and every show, we dig deep in that vast archive of Watch Mojo Top 10s. We pluck out one of those lists, and we like to go beyond, essentially giving our own personal opinions and debating whether or not Watch Mojo got it right or wrong. And who are we kidding? They rarely get it wrong, just like Marvel. Phoebe, do you like some Disney movies?
I do. I do not like a live action Disney movie remake. Not a fan of that, but you know.
Yeah, that taking, you're talking about like the live action, like they take the animated and they redo it.
Yeah, the reboots. Yeah, I really hate that.
Some of them you're right. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. I did kind of like Cruella.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you didn't?
I mean, you know, I feel like that's kind of different because it's kind of like an origin story. Yeah. But the one that like sticks out in my mind as so egregious was The Lion King. You know, one of the best not only animated Disney movies, but also one of the best movies of all time. No. And I could not, for the life of me, to save my life, stay awake during that movie. It was so boring and just so, and it's not even like they called it live action. That's not live action.
It's not live action. It was, and by the way, what was the point of it? They didn't need to make this again. They pretty much, yeah. Okay, well here's what we're gonna do. These are the top 10 worst or unwatchable live action Disney movies. So these are live action. So not necessarily those remakes that you're talking about. These are live actions. Disney does all kinds of movies. They're known mainly for their animated, but they also do kind of sometimes these silly comedies or adventure movies or epics. Sometimes they work. In this case, they definitely did not. This list, by the way, came out in 2017, so clearly there's probably some more that we could add to it. But let's go through it. These are the worst, folks. The worst Disney live-action movies. Number 10, I saw this, and yeah, I'm not going to disagree with The Haunted Mansion. Eddie Murphy, 2003. Worst.
I kind of like this movie. I mean, when I was watching this list to kind of get some, background information on why these were put onto the list, it said something to the effect of that it wasn't scary. But I mean, do all Haunted Mansion movies have to be scary? Like,
it's a Haunted Mansion. You would think. No, for me, and I get it. You kind of go into this expecting it to be a little more spooky. For me, it's Eddie Murphy. He went in this. I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan, but he went in this point of his career where he did start doing these kind of silly comedy family stuff. He did Doolittle, and then he did like stuff like Pluto Nash, and he did this, and it was just like, oh, you deserve so much better, Eddie. Like, he was just clearly in it for the paycheck, and I think that's what left a sour taste in my mouth. They're rebooting this, by the way, Haunted Mansion.
Another thing that I don't like that Disney does is that they make movies based on theme park rides, like Jungle Cruise. Who asked for that? Like, who in the world asked for that?
Pirates of the Caribbean was based on a theme park ride. That turned out pretty good.
Which theme park ride was that again?
I don't even know.
Anyway, it's such a strange thing to do.
It's true.
Very strange.
True. Yeah, it is based on a theme park, but they are rebooting it. And hey, by the way, the Muppets has a crossover on Disney Plus right now. It's called Muppets Haunted Mansion, and it's about Gonzo going to the Haunted Mansion. And I thought that was not bad. It's an hour and it's fluff, but it's the Muppets. Okay,
that sounds fun.
It was fun. Yeah, it won't be on this list for sure. Okay, number 9 on the worst Disney live action films is something called Blank Check, 1994. I laugh because I saw this at a kid's birthday party. A friend of mine, when we were very, very young, went to this, and based on the concept and the trailer, we thought it would be hilarious because it's like a kid finding a blank check and he's rich and could do whatever. And even at a very young age, I knew that it was garbage after. I remember being like, what?
And also kind of inappropriate for children because there's like a makeout scene between a grown-ass woman and a little boy. Just enough said.
No, you're right. And I think, you know what they were trying to do? It kind of reminded me of like the Richie Rich, right? Like a rich, like what would a rich kid do?
Yeah.
Didn't Macaulay Culkin? I'm getting all these like memories now. I think Macaulay Culkin had a Richie Rich live action movie.
Yeah.
Oh, he did? You know this?
I mean, I think so.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I don't want to drudge it up. Okay. Moving on.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Macaulay Culkin. All right. Clearly wasn't Disney, or it'd probably be on this list. Number 8 is, oh man, The Lone Ranger. What happened here? What happened? Johnny Depp in this one. Who else was in it? Armie Hammer. Did you have the unfortunate circumstance of watching this?
Yeah, I never finished it. I feel like there was a point in time where Hollywood was really trying to push Armie Hammer as like this like desirable leading man, and this was kind of like the nail in the coffin of that happening. Because no. No.
Do you know that now Armie Hammer's he's accused of being a cannibal? Do you know this?
Yeah. I mean,
this is real.
Definitely know it. I've seen it's a very disturbing claims. Also kind of I don't know. It's very frightening.
No, there is, and there's a lot of icky stuff about what he was doing. I won't get into it, but there's hotel room Instagram pics and video. Yeah, Armie Hammer, his career went right down a cliff, and of course Johnny Depp
started right here.
Yeah, no, and Johnny Depp too didn't do any favors with his Tonto, and people were like, no,
Yeah.
No, it was not good. All right, let's erase that from our minds. So no disagreeing there. I actually probably would have dropped that a little closer to the top. Number 7 is something called College Road Trip in 2008. I have no recollection of this. I can't say anything about this. Who was in it? Martin Lawrence, Raven Simone. I think that says it all right there. Did you see this? I have no idea what this is.
I thought I'd seen this movie, and then I realized that I had actually just seen Are We There Yet? Like another road trip movie. And I was like, oh, I've definitely, wait a second. I don't think so. But yeah, never seen this one. Don't care to.
So that's the thing. So sometimes they're so bad, audiences know before they don't even go watch it. So clearly on the list for a reason. All right, let's move on to number 6. This one's called Snow Dogs, 2002. Cuba Gooding Jr. just came off of an Oscar win. He won an Oscar for Jerry Maguire. He had one of the best Oscar speeches ever. He was an it man in Hollywood. People loved Cuba Gooding Jr. And then he follows it up with Snow Dogs. What? Here's a true story, Phoebe. I worked at a movie theater, and I was quite young. I was obviously a teen, and they had announced in the theater, they had a bulletin saying that the star of Snow Dogs was going to be appearing. And I was like, what? At our theater, we're bringing in Cuba Gooding Jr.? No, it was a dog. It was the dog. It was one of the dogs. This is true. They didn't say it was a dog in the little bulletin that they put. It was a little poster they hung in our theater saying, hey, come meet the star of Snow Dogs on Saturday, whatever. And I was like, what? Cuba Gooding Jr.'s coming to my little town? No, that was one of the dogs, I guess, was... Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah, true story.
I remember absolutely loving this movie when I was a kid.
No.
Yeah,
Really?
and like what yeah. And I can't stop laughing because I just keep thinking about the part where he bites the dog's ear. And oh my god, I like loved this movie. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I thought this was like the funniest movie ever.
It was just too goofy. I think the reason why it gets such a bad rap is Cuba Gooding Jr. making this movie. And then he did something called Boat Trip, remember? Mm-hmm. And it was like this homophobic comedy that people trashed. And man, Cuba clearly didn't have
How the mighty have fallen.
He clearly didn't have a good agent. The man won an Oscar. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to number 5 is something called Underdog. Came out in 2007. I watched this recently with my little one. Yeah, it's not good. I think it deserves a spot on this list.
I mean, if you're gonna make a movie about like a talented dog, like make it like Air Bud. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like Air Bud it slaps. It's a really good movie.
They know, and it's a movie that knows what it is. Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Peter Dinklage is in that movie. In the Super Dog one or whatever.
Yeah, Underdog.
Yeah.
It was just so silly. Nothing like, I want to erase that from my mind. And you know it's bad when like the kids, like the target audience, because I'm obviously not the target audience.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting next to someone that is like a little kid and they're like
This
not
sucks.
having it. Yeah. When they know, that's when you know. Mm-hmm. All right, number 4. Okay, I have a bit of a soft spot for this one, but I can see why it would make the list. I think it may be a little too close to the top. It's Inspector Gadget. It came out in 1999. No? I thought it was... Listen, what could they do? It was Matthew Broderick. Maybe not the best choice, by the way. I could have seen a lot of other actors step into that role. But I remember Sherry O'Terry was in this.
Sherry O'Terry.
She was on Saturday Night Live. I thought, listen, it's not terrible.
I like this movie. I really like this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm shaking my head. Like,
I thought you were shaking it at me. Okay.
No, this movie is awesome. Again, something I remember from being a young girl and liking this movie. I you know when you watch a movie when you're a kid and you don't realize who the actor is, and then when you become older and you start getting into film and television, you're like, oh my god, it's him. Like, that's so strange. Yeah. That's what happened when I was doing research for this. I was like, I do not remember it being Matthew Broderick. But yeah, no, I liked this movie.
Yeah, you know what should have been? I would have swapped. There's a sequel that's terrible, and I would have put that in this one's place. But yeah, I guess I haven't done a rewatch. Sometimes that's the key when you You have
Yeah.
those fond memories, and you rewatch it, and you're like, oh yeah, the critics got it right. All right, number 3. I watch this pretty much every year because it's on TV during the Christmas holiday season. It's called The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause. So this is the Tim Allen franchise, right? The first one, very much a classic. The second one, I actually don't remember exactly what happens.
It's good. It's really good.
The second one? Okay. You know what? I've probably seen it, but I do remember this third one because it was so out there compared to the other ones. You had Martin Short as Mr. What was he? He was like
Jack
the
Frost vibe
Jack
or
Frost.
something. Yeah.
Exactly who he was. So he was the villain, but a lot of it took place in Santa's workshop. Like, it was very fantastical, where the other ones kind of did a really great job of meshing the real world with this fantasy. Not the best movie. Clearly the worst in the franchise.
Yeah, Disney has like they'll do like 1 or 2 really good movies in a franchise, let's say, and then they'll just beat it to absolute death. And they took it one step too far with this one. The first 2 I really enjoyed. The third one, it was like, just leave it at that. When you got 2 good movies in a row, just stop. Like, I mean, yeah, that's my opinion on that.
No, it's so true. It's so true. And then I always love that they have like those little innuendo like names, like the escape clause, right?
Yeah, so clever.
But yeah, those clever little titles. Okay, number 2. We're getting close, folks. We're getting close to the worst live action Disney films. This one's called Old Dogs in 2009. And I think the reason why it's so low, well, I mean, it's not a very good movie, but it's so disappointing when you see the cast. Robin Williams, John Travolta. That should be good, and it's not.
I mean, one of those stars is more disappointing than the other. I mean, John Travolta, well, he has an interesting filmography to say the least. But yeah, Robin Williams, I've never actually seen this movie. I've heard a lot about it, but I was like really surprised that, the cast, just the cast that they were able to get for such a strange movie.
Yeah, no, and I'm reading like a little bit of the descriptions, and it's bringing back some not so good memories. There's a scene where Seth Green's also in it, and he gets fondled by a gorilla. That's true.
Nice.
I mean, come on, Seth Green, you. Why you say yes to this stuff? Yeah, no, it's not very good. So Phoebe, don't watch it. Don't watch it.
All right,
even
I'll check it out.
Even if you're a Robin Williams fan, it's not going to do anything for you. All right, honorable mentions that Watch Mojo has here: The Pacifier. This was
I love this movie.
Is that the Vin Diesel?
Yes, I love this movie. This is criminal that this is an honorable mention. Criminal.
Okay, sure. Hot take. Princess Diaries 2.
Criminal. No, this is completely wrong. Princess Diaries.
This is the sequel, that Princess Diaries 2.
With Chris Pine.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. It's so good.
Honorable mentions, and The Country Bears came out in 2002. I don't even know what this is, and I'm a movie guy.
Yeah, I'd love to say Criminal again, but I've never seen that movie. The other 2, I cannot idly stand by and let The Pacifier be spit on.
Are you that big of a Vin Diesel fan?
I mean, I met Vin Diesel. Did you know that? I interviewed Vin Diesel at a junket a few years ago.
What was the movie?
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot, which I thought, by the way, and that was right before the pandemic hit. And I kind of felt bad for them because I was like, oh, this would have been pretty good. It was quite fun for what it was. And Vin Diesel's got a way about him as an action star. It just works. But okay, give us the inside scoop now. This is not virtual like everything else these days. You met Vin Diesel kind of face to face.
In person,
real life, and
great vibes. Vibes. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I was actually like in the plane on the way to LA when they were locking down the city of LA because of COVID. Oh, no. And I was like, what do I do? Like, am I going to get stuck in the States? Like, I'm going to have to live here now. But no, it was definitely worth it because it was such a fun experience. And I liked the movie, like, the whole idea of the imperfect superhero. But Vin Diesel has a built-in fan base of like Facebook moms who just think he's like the sexiest guy alive. I don't consider myself part of that demographic, but I mean, he has a lot of good movies, and The Pacifier is one of them.
And so before the cameras roll, though, this is always interesting to me because you see, like, you know, when you do an interview, you know, you get into it, and it's obviously a bit of a, I don't want to say a performance, but, you know, you're getting down to business, talking about the movie, prepared questions and stuff like that. Before the cameras roll, was there a bit of chit chat? Was he saying hi, or was he on his phone? Because sometimes you'll get actors that don't really care, but then when the camera's on, then they perk up.
Yeah. I've never had that experience where someone's just kind of like, let's get it over with. And then, oh my God, hey, how are you? Yeah. That whole junket, everyone was super nice, including, you know, Lamorne Morris, Sam Heughan, Eiza Gonzalez, Vin Diesel. There was a little bit of banter between us, you know, before the interview actually started. I was so nervous, but just them being like that made me feel at ease. Awesome. Yeah, I was shaking. My legs were shaking like crazy. I don't know. I was so nervous.
They're just celebrities. That's awesome. I like hearing. The reason why I'm probing you is because I like hearing when actors that I like are actually nice in real life.
Yeah.
Because it's so disappointing when you hear that they're not, or you read that they're not. So that's good to hear. All right, let's not waste any time, Phoebe. Let's get to the worst Disney live action movie of all time, according to this list in 2017. It's Mr. Magoo, Unwatchable. Watch Mojo says 1997. Leslie Nielsen, what the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah, he's like a comedy legend, this guy.
Icon in the comedy world.
Yeah.
Airplane. I mean, come on.
Airplane.
But then he did like serious. If you look at his history, his filmography, he was doing like more serious stuff, and then he like nailed it as this deadpan comedic actor. So great, so funny. This movie missed the mark for a lot of reasons. And you notice that you never see this on re-releases. You never see this on TV. It's like Disney has erased this from their history. I don't think you can find it on Disney Plus. I don't think you ever will.
Yeah, no, I think they pulled it from theaters after like 2 weeks. And I was reading also in doing preparation for this that it garnered a lot of controversy because a lot of the comedy comes from the fact that he's nearsighted, and so there was like a lot of people with you know, the visually impaired, for lack of a better word, were offended by this movie, and I guess that had something to do with them taking it out of theaters. But I like have never even heard of this movie, and I think like Disney really wiped the slate clean with this one. Like I've never even heard of this movie.
I do, and I've never seen it, probably because they did pull it, but I do remember seeing the adverts, and I remember I was pretty young, but I do remember knowing Leslie Nielsen, of course. And it's based on a cartoon, right? Like it's Mr. Magoo's this guy, and he's got big glasses, and all the gags are like kind of making fun of his sight. But yeah, if you're part of that community that's like visually impaired, then and all those jokes are like, you're the butt of that joke. I can see how that might be in bad taste. But in addition to that, I just hear that it just was not very good, and the gags were uninspired. And so it was a complete waste, and just Disney missed the mark on Mr. Magoo. Can you do? Any recent ones that you'd put on there? I know you said Lion King. I guess that's live action, maybe not.
Live action, maybe not. I mean, I can only think of like adaptations in terms of like from animated to live action, which would be like The Jungle. Like keep Jon Favreau away from making live action Disney movies. There's another movie that I think a lot of people didn't know existed until Disney Plus launched, and they put like all this back catalog of strange movies that they had. What is it called? Dumbo Drop or something? It's with Ray Liotta.
I know exactly what you're talking. Operation Dumbo Drop, where they drop an elephant as like a bomb.
Where are they dropping him?
They're using it as like a bomb or something, weren't they? It was like an army film.
It's frightening.
It is.
Why is Ray Liotta in it?
What a terrible name, too. Operation Dumbo Drop. Oh.
Operation Dump Drop, apparently, from Disney.
Awful. Just awful. All right, well, we want to know what you guys think. Have you seen any of these movies? And are you like Phoebe, where some of them shouldn't be on the list? You just let us know. And how much do you love Vin Diesel? Let us know in the comments. All right, Phoebe, thank you so much for joining us. Always a fun time when you're on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I love coming on.
All right, anytime. Hey, folks, guess what? It's time for our Mojo Chats of the week. That's right, chats with an S, because I'm chatting with some of the stars and producers of Netflix's Locke and Key. First up, Connor Jessup. All right, right, Netflix's smash hit show Lock and Key is back to help me unravel or unlock some of season 2's secrets. I've got Connor with me. Connor, how are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. And I say that it's a smash hit, and I don't mean that lightly, because the fan base is red hot for this one, and they've been so excited. They've been waiting a long time. What can you tell us, without giving spoilers? Obviously, half the fun is seeing how this all plays out. Set the stage, I guess, for what we can expect in the second season.
Yeah, I mean, season 1 is so much for the audience and for the Locks about the discovery of the world that they're in. You know, you spend a lot of ground time in season 1 learning what the keys are, what the history of them is with their dad. You're building a world, and now that it's built and we're comfortable in it as a family, we're comfortable in it as an audience, hopefully watching it, it gives us this amazing opportunity to explore and expand, and the characters start having fun with these keys, and they start testing them. They start probing into deeper into the mythology behind them. They start really, really, really having fun. Yeah. And I think that is a big change from season 1, which was so tied up in the grief and anxiety around their father's death. And season 2, they worked through a lot of that in season 1. And season 2, they kind of have this, they start at least with this sense of possibility and freedom. And I think that's a really big change for the show and for them. And hopefully people find that exciting.
Yeah, no, it is exciting. Trust me, I've got a sneak peek. It's been completely, it's got completely let loose. Connor, you must have been asked this a million times, so I'm expecting a good answer from you. If you were to bring one of those keys from the show and have one in real life, right? People must have asked you this. What key would you particularly choose?
See, I actually think there's a new key in season 2 that's not a spoiler, because it's out there in the world already. There's this new key called the Small World key, which is from the comics, where there's a miniature version of Key House, like a dollhouse version. And if you put the Small World key into this dollhouse, anything that happens to the dollhouse happens in the real Key House. So, for example, a tiny house spider crawls in and it becomes a giant spider. But we don't really fully explore the potential of that key, I think. For example, if you put in a tiny diamond or a tiny sliver of gold, you would get a massive one. So I feel like there are probably a lot of things you could do with that key.
That's fun. So fun. Talk to me about you playing this character that's based on a comic book character, because to me, I would feel like as an actor that would be kind of a daunting task. Does that affect your role? Like, are you holding to that comic and, okay, well, would he do that in the comic, or is this kind of your role? This is a different thing, we're doing it on TV?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of both. I think in season 1, we didn't know what the show was. We were still very much in the happy shadow of the comic, and I think we were all trying to figure out what our relationship was as characters, as actors, to the source material. And now as the show develops and moves on, and in a lot of ways diverges from the strict plot of the comics, I think we all feel a little more freedom to own the fact that these are the same characters from the comics, but they're almost like a remixed version of those characters. So, and Joe and Gabe, the creators of the comics, are so encouraging that this show is its own thing. And so I feel like it's a perfect mix of that, like, seed of, we know where we're coming from, but also we have the freedom to go where the scripts take us, where we feel like the characters need to go to react to what's happening in the show. So it's something that I have with me, but it's not something that I think about a lot when we're working. It feels like we're making our own thing. Amazing. Which is really exciting.
Well, keep doing your thing, and we'll keep watching. It's Lock and Key season 2 on Netflix. Thanks, Connor.
Thank you.
All right, let's check out some more Lock and Key interviews. Here's Griffin, Gluck, and Hallea Jones. Season 2 is upon us. Locke and Key is on Netflix, and boy, I'm ready to dig right in and unlock the secrets of Season 2.
Nice.
I got Griffin, I got Hallea. How are you guys doing?
Very well.
Yeah, pretty good right now. I'm on summer break right now because we filmed throughout the summer, so I'm taking my time off now.
Hey, enjoy it. Enjoy your break, but let's set the stage. Griffin, I'm going to start with you. Talk to me about your character, what you can tell us about him for those that might not be familiar. Kind of set the stage of who you're playing here in the show.
Oh, well, if people aren't familiar with Gabe going into season 2, that's troublesome right there, because Gabe is a very different person season 2 than he is season 1, which is a big spoiler. But I'm going to talk to the audience, talk to you, as if everyone has seen season 1. Gabe is up to a bunch of no good shenanigans this season. He's still keeping up that good boy act, but behind closed doors, which the audience gets to see a lot of this season, he is a terrible person. He is really mean. He is really nefarious. He's got a lot of schemes going on, and they're all fun. A lot of them are really scary too.
Now, Griffin, you don't seem like a mean guy in real life, right? But
I hope not. I don't know. You know, I try to be nice.
But it must be fun playing the villain, right? That seems like a fun role to play. Yeah.
It's my first time ever playing not the good kind of character, like where, you know, you're nice and you're fun. And this is my first time digging into something a little more you know, not more serious, but just in the realm of scary or dark, which was really fun because I kind of got to figure it out along the shoot. It was a huge learning experience for me how to be menacing. I'm 5'7", I weigh like nothing, and I've never been a big energy or, you know, scary or threatening in any way. So learning how to do that in other ways was a lot of fun.
Definitely brings it.
And Hallea, I mean, you're not so nice either. I mean, the first episode of the second season, you do something pretty terrible to a popcorn vendor. And I used to work at a movie theater, and I was like, oh no, that's like my nightmare. Did you embrace that kind of naughtiness again? Because you weren't so nice season 1 either.
Yeah, I think I really just felt like leaning into it more, and the writing was just so clear of where it needed to go. And working with Griffin was so much fun because we played against each other, and he was just so mean as Gabe, and Eden's also like, well, I'm gonna one up you, but you can kill me. So she's feisty, she's underestimated, she's definitely like just loves chaos and all of the conniving things that she can do, and snacks, whether it be Cheetos, or can we say a generic junk food brand, or the popcorn guy, or, you know, a few people in Matheson who the authorities are going to start wondering where everyone's going. It's in my belly.
Well, let me tell you what, you both bring it, and it's so much fun to watch. I'm gonna finish the interview with the last question, and I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, so I expect a good answer. If you were to take one of those keys from the show and use it in real life, I mean, which one would you use? Hallea, I'll start with you.
I'm stuck between the anywhere key and the head key. I actually have a head key tattoo because I love the idea of it. Yeah. Cool. But the anywhere key is also, I'm like, I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Greece. I want to go somewhere. I just want to go, whoop, bye.
Griffin, what's your key of choice?
Ooh, see, I could take an easy cop out for this question and say a key that you guys haven't seen yet because it's in season 2. But I won't do that. I would say probably the anywhere key.
Amazing. Well, we can't wait to uncover all the keys of season 2 and all the fun you guys have mixing it up. It's out there on Netflix. And now to hear from the show's executive producers, here's Carlton, Cuse, and Meredith Averill. All right, season 2 of Netflix's Locke and Key is upon us, and who better to tell us all about what we can expect than those EPs, the executive producers, Meredith, Carlton. How are you guys both doing? You must be excited that this is finally coming out.
So excited. I can't believe it's been like 18 months since we premiered season 1. We can't wait for everyone to see season 2.
I mean, season 2 is really great, and we can't wait for the audience to see it.
Yeah, no, listen, the anticipation's been quite high online. People have been waiting to see what happens to these characters. We know it's based on a comic. Carlton, are we expecting it to follow that comic storyline, or I guess there's a lot of creative license when you adapt something like this. But for those that have read the comic, like myself, can we expect similar storylines, or how's this going to play out?
I think similar storylines is kind of the right phrase. We hit some of the same beats as the comics, but we tell our story in a very different way. Joe Hill's actually very involved in the show. He gives us notes and weighs in on the stuff we're doing. So he's, very on board with this whole idea that, the comic book is one thing and the show is another. And the show has its own tone and its own style. And I think you'll be rewarded if you have read the comics like you have, but there's going to be a lot of cool new stuff that you won't be expecting.
Meredith, we play with a lot of genres here on the show, which is great. I love it because you got your, it's all tinged in horror, of course. You got your fantasy, the supernatural. It's also coming of age, and it's, a family drama. We saw that kind of in the first season. Is there one in the second season, one kind of genre that sticks out more than the rest?
I think we continue to really just love to blend all these genres together. It allows for there really to be something for everyone. We've got the family drama, we've got a romance, we've got some fun with the Savini squad. We certainly have a lot of the sort of the horror and fantasy angle. And I would say just this season is just much more mature. It just as our characters have matured, there's a maturity to the character, to the show as well. And so you're going to see that it is a little bit darker because the stakes are just so much higher this season.
Yeah, it really is. I got a sneak peek, and trust me, you guys are in for a treat when you watch it. Before we go, one thing I love about this show is the production quality, the production design. Especially when you look at that house and everything in it, it's just littered with all kinds of goodies. If you were to take one thing from, not to say you're going to steal something, but if you were going to take one thing home, maybe put it in your own house, what might it be? Meredith, do you have something that you might want to take from set? Oh, you already have something?
Maybe I have something right here. I don't know. Maybe I'd wear it around my neighborhood a little.
That's amazing. Carlton, have you snagged anything?
I might have a few keys. I wish they worked in real life. I'd like to be able to anywhere key, any place I felt like. Not sure about the head key. Not sure I really want to go in, or anybody else, messing around with what's going on in here. But yeah, the keys are great. I mean, we're deep into working on season 3 already of the show, and so it's been fun. And the house is just fantastic. Our production designer went on to do Foundation for Apple, which is this incredible giant scale show. So I mean, the talent behind the construction of our sets is amazing. And now we have a new production designer, Mark Steele, who has followed up and has done an incredible job with season 2.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to keep watching and see what else pops up on screen. Thank you for your time today. And we want to remind everybody on Netflix, season 2, it's Locke and Key. Well, that's going to do it for another episode, everybody. My thanks to Phoebe for joining in on all the fun, and everybody involved with Netflix's Locke and Key for unlocking the secrets to season 2. Thank you for watching and listening. Until next time, I've been Mr. Hollywood, Poppin the Culture.